Some people find investment in education, and I mean across the board, where be it in coaching, be it in skills, be it in K-12, or be it in the higher learning space, a very attractive form of investment, whereas a lot of investors, a lot of foreign investors, a lot of domestic HNIs investors have generally looked upon education as the least attractive form of return. I had the social infrastructure practice. Now, social infrastructure practice is education, healthcare, and senior living, by which we try and touch the lives of people right from pediatric to geriatric care. And in that sense, investments, opportunities related to almost all the spheres of human life. Now, what are the positive things that have happened in the education sector which has spurred investments from foreign equity as well as private individual wealth? Some of the education aspects of education are still by and large unregulated. The play school space, the coaching classes space, which perhaps is the most invested sector as far as Indian private equity and even the share market is concerned. Secondly, foreign direct investment is allowed in education. 100% investment is allowed in education across sectors. The earlier limitation for investment was the real estate. You could invest in education business, but foreign direct investment was not allowed in the infrastructure related to education. Now, that was hampering a lot of growth in the education, in the K-12 space especially. Now, that has changed completely. In November 2011, there was a press note 2 of 2005 released by the RBI, which has been modified in 2011 to allow foreign direct investment in real estate related to education. So all the venues are now clear. You can have foreign direct investment in education. You can have foreign direct investment in real estate related to education. So one of the main cribs or one of the main challenges in education was the availability of real estate and the lack of, the costly real estate and lack of funds for real estate. So that has just about been cleared. So that's another positive thing. The other thing that is happening is student housing now has become. Earlier, it was a challenge. Any big private university, if you go to, be it Amity, be it lovely professional, there are mushroomed college residences which come across on the other side of the road, and they're really not what the university would like it to be. Recent private equity deal between IDFC, which is a private equity fund, and Manipal has created a fund for investing in private in the student housing space. There has been a lot of investment that's happened in the skills space, and today, when the time has come for the private equity players to get out, do an exit, they find there is a lack of scalability, a lack of growth, and that common complaint is somewhat challenging, but basically, there has been a lot of funding that's available for skill space. The other interesting aspect is the developmental financial institutions and the international NGOs are looking at India as a positive thing for education. Recent deals have happened where IFC has stepped up and invested in a few Indian education institutions. So the returns return in education, whoever is looking to invest in education has to have that word social. It cannot possibly match the kind of expectations that you have in a normal investment in any other industry. If there is an IRR expectation of say 30%, 35% in other businesses, there is a reasonable, with a bit of risk, there is a reasonable return, and you can match the social entrepreneurship with reasonable returns. The main difference is the kind of returns that you expect is going to be much lesser than the return that you expect in a normal business. Secondly, the time frame for investments, as Mr. Jain also pointed out, has to be significantly longer than this one. There has been a lot of enthusiasm, especially in the last 2-3 years, and there have been private equity deals that have happened in this management education services space. There is a lot of lack of, there is a lot of confusion about the government involvement here. One is the lack of clarity on RTE. What does RTE mean? Does RTE mean any new school that opens, 25% of the seats have to be reserved from day one? Our interpretation is different. Our interpretation is RTE is only applicable to the students who are admitted at the lowest class, and they have to be provided, throughout, they have to be provided free education till the time they are 14. So there is, the other thing is the judicial activism that is there. Judicial activism or government interference. We have different cases going on in different states for different, and it affects all the private schools. You have Bangalore where Kannada, the case is whether primary education should be only in Kannada medium even for private schools. You have Tamil Nadu where judges are sitting and deciding the school fees for private school admissions. You have Delhi where High Court is sitting up drawing the guidelines for school admissions. So all this put together, there is extreme commission, and you have the 6th pay commission on top. There is also a lot of judicial things that are happening. AICTE versus IIPA, AICTE being asked not to regulate MBA colleges. So there, education is going through this confusion as to government doesn't know where to stop or where to start. I think the solution here is possibly a regulator. There could be a regulator for school space, there could be a regulator for when it can succeed in telecom, when it can succeed in insurance, which are again, as people have said, this is at the end of the day a consumer-driven business. So I think one of the solutions is to sort of have a regulator and allow for-profit entrepreneurship, corporate-driven model. So that I think possibly is the solution. Now, there are 2 other important constraints for a brick and mortar entity to grow. One is land and building, the real estate, and the other is funding. There's a thought on the case studies as well. One of the case studies is, which I'll leave it for the audience to dwell on, is to grow inorganically rather than grow organically. So there is a thought on which the K-12 schools can be invested in an asset-light model. There are always developers and real estate people with land who are willing to build and give schools on lease. The whole idea is, if you have a certain amount of capital, how best to utilize that capital to grow. And our idea and my idea is that, talking purely financially, every rupee spent should give you a certain amount of turnover. By spending 10 crores, you'll get 10 crores worth of business and 3 crores worth of return. And similarly, if you sort of de-risk by getting, if you have X amount of capital, you can put 20%, say, in K-12 in tier 2, tier 3 cities, 20% in tier 4, 5 and rural cities where the land and building is not really a big issue because the cost is not that great. And then split the rest between skills, coaching and e-learning and do a sum of parts. I think it is the way to go, where you are de-risking and there can be a lot of synergies that can come across in protecting your investments. Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity to present this. Thank you so much.